If a lot of you out there are like myself and you're currently knee deep in Arc Raiders and you're also a solo player, I have the ultimate Arc Raiders guide for solo players. So in this guide, I'm going to try cover absolutely everything that's going to benefit you as a solo player, from perks to settings to weapons, movement, map rotations, the loot spawns, and to PvP. We're going to try dive into absolutely everything to give you the ultimate Arc Raiders guide for solo players. So to start this one off, I think we're best off hopping into the perk system. And as a solo player, getting your early game perks and working towards your late game perks is essential to be a good solo player. So if you make your way over here to the Metaforge app and you go to skill tree builder, you can actually mess about with the skill tree builder and see what skills do what. So after 120 hours in the game and maxing out my level, I am now level 75. These are the best perks I think you should be starting off with in Arc Raiders, and some of the best perks you should be working towards. So putting some points into mobility is going to benefit you a lot. Having good stamina in Arc Raiders is going to help you out a lot as a solo player. From getting into PvP fights to fighting against the Arc, from trying to get to the extraction point as quick as possible with decent stamina, where you're not slugging behind when you have a backpack full of loot. So how the skill tree works in Arc Raiders is every time you level up, you get a skill point. And what you want to do is throw your first 5 points into the skill tree like I have just now. So 1 into Nimble Climber, 2 into Marathon Runner, and 2 into Youthful Lungs. This is going to boost up your stamina a little bit to get you started in Arc Raiders. Then I like to make my way back over here to Survival, to come over to Agile Croucher, work my way into Revitalizing Squat, and then we're going to be looking at in-round crafting. So by the time you get in-round crafting, you're going to be level 8. Now in-round crafting is definitely one of the must-have perks early game, especially if you're going in on the free loadout. What in-round crafting does, it gives you the ability to craft items while topside. So if you're playing on the free loadout, you can indeed craft meds on that free loadout with this perk. It is one of the best early game perks in the game. So we are going to be working towards Suffer in Silence here, so we're going to spend a couple of points throughout Survival until we can build up enough points to get to Suffer in Silence, which it's going to take 15 points to get there, but don't be afraid to throw your points into any of these because they're all pretty good perks. All these first few perks for Survival are all fairly good. So once you get 15 points here, you'll be around level 20 at this stage. We're going to buy our very first big perk. The very first big perk I like to go for is Suffer in Silence, and while you're critically hurt, your movement makes less noise. This is very good when playing as a solo player because when you get damaged, you're going to make less noise when you're moving about. So once I have 16 points thrown into Survival, I would like to add 2 more points back into Mobility to get my stamina up a little bit more. Now, for Survival, you are really going to want to be working towards Security Breach. Now, I like to just come straight up, go for Broad Shoulders, Looter's Luck to start off with, put some points into them, just try max out these other points that you have as well because they're all really good points. Don't be afraid to hop back every 1 or 2 levels into Mobility and throw some points back into it because these perks are all pretty good and they're going to help with your stamina as well. But the main perk we're going to be working towards is Security Breach. So once we have 36 points thrown into Survival, we will indeed be able to get Security Breach, which I think Security Breach for mid-game to late game is one of the best perks in the game, especially for getting blueprints and epic gear. So now that we have a total of 36 points thrown in here, we're going to get Security Breach. So then we're going to come back. After we get our Security Breach perk, we're pretty set up for looting. So we're going to come back into Mobility and just max out Youthful Lungs and Marathon Runner. Now we'll be at level 53. I like to just throw 2 more points here into Sturdy Ankles because it will help with your fall damage. You'll be at level 55. So you're going to have 20 levels, which means 20 points. I like to just throw these extra 20 levels into Conditioning, as Conditioning has some really good perks, especially this used to the way perk. Wearing a shield doesn't slow you down as much. This will work hand in hand with some of your mobility perks and it's a really good perk. So we're going to try to get 16 points here into Conditioning once again, until we can get our first big perk in Conditioning. I would highly recommend going for Survivor Stamina in this one. When you're critically hurt, your stamina regenerates faster. This is a really good perk. So we're just going to keep throwing our last 4 points here into conditioning and getting a couple of points on these other perks that we've already gotten. I would highly recommend staying away from Carry the Momentum and Cam and Stroll, as these perks don't really work. It has been proven by a couple of other creators that these perks are pretty useless. I would also recommend staying away from the Down But Not Determined perk. I know a lot of people say that this is a really good perk. When you're down, it takes longer before you collapse, but there is a purple backpack that you can use that basically allows you to crawl the length of the whole map if you use it right. So Down But Determined is a pretty useless perk. So that'll be your full perk system maxed out, and I think after 120 hours this is the best route to go as a solo player. There is some crucial perks in this that I would highly recommend working towards, especially the security breach perk. This one is essential. It's so good as a solo player, it's made me a ton of money. And if you use security breach and your in-round crafting perk together and you use the free loadouts, you will be a millionaire. It's so easy to make millions off using the free loadout, in-round crafting and the security breach perk. It's just so easy to make lots of money on this game when you combine them 3 perks together. So we're going to move a little bit away from the perks right now, and we're going to come on here onto the weapons. So these are some of the loadouts that I would definitely recommend using as a solo player. Starting off, we have the Anvil. It's a super good weapon. It is really good against arc, and it can indeed 2-shot enemies. 2 headshots with the Anvil and the player is dead. We also have the Stitcher here, which I still think is one of the best SMGs in the game. The Stitcher can indeed win 1v1s against the Bobcat, which is another epic SMG, so I would highly recommend using the Stitcher as well. This loadout is fairly solid. Now, if you don't have the Anvil and you're super early game, Furrow is just as good. Furrow is very good against arc, and it's really good against other players. The only downfall of the Furrow is the slow reload time. Once you get a little bit into later game, I would highly recommend looking at weapons such as the Venator, which is probably the best gun in the game at the moment, especially for PvP. This thing is absolutely insane in PvP at the moment. If you hadn't noticed, a lot of people are using it in PvP, so it's a very good gun, and it does actually kill the arc pretty quick as well. My go-to loadout for late game has been the upgraded Renegade, and if you put the golden stock on it, the thing is absolutely insane. So my go-to loadout at the moment has been the Venator and the Renegade. Now, there is a lot of different weapons that you can mix and match with that are very good together. Like, you can come in with a hull cracker, take out loads of arc, and then you can have a Venator for your PvP in case you get into a little bit of bother. There is so many different loadouts that you can use in arc that are viable. There is some specific weapons later game that are used only on arc, likes of the Jupiter and the Equalizer. Now, I know one of these weapons is pretty decent against players, but these are mainly weapons that you're going to be using against arc. But finding the best loadout for you as a solo player is what is going to matter most when it comes to PvP and PvE in this game. But I would highly recommend after 120 hours, but I would definitely recommend either an Anvil and a Stitcher for everyday use, because these weapons are super good and they can actually deal with the higher level weapons. Another really good loadout in Arc Raiders as a solo player is the El Toro and the Anvil. This is a fantastic loadout as you have a little bit of range with the Anvil, and then up close, I think the El Toro up close is absolutely incredible. You can 2-tap a lot of enemies with the El Toro up close. So another incredible loadout as a solo player. So for your backpacks and your shields early game, I would highly recommend using the Luton MK1 as your backpack. The max loadout weight for the Luton MK1 is going to be 50. This is going to be your best friend early game. It also has 1 safe pocket on it. The other 2 do have also 1 safe pocket on it, but I would definitely recommend the Luton MK1 early game. And then as you come into mid game, the Luton MK2, because it gives you max loadout weight of 60, and it also gives you 2 free safe spots. So Luton MK2 for a little bit later game. And you're going to want to be working towards your medium shield as well. Medium shield is going to be really good for you once you get a little bit further in the game. So these are some of the level 3 backpacks that you're going to be using in Arc Raiders. The Luton MK3 Survivor is a super OP backpack, and not a lot of people know why. But while you're down, your stationary health regenerates up to 75% to max of downed health. So it's very hard in this game once you get out to crawl to the extraction point, hit the button, wait for the extraction to come, get in the extraction and extract. You're usually dead by the time the elevator doors even open up. But with the Luton MK3 Survivor, if you get down by arc won't attack you while you're downed. You can actually crawl with this Luton MK3 Survivor all the way to the point. You can crawl I'm pretty sure you can crawl the full length of the map, because when you're downed, your stationary health, it'll keep regenerating. your downed health will keep regenerating. One I've been using in Arc Raiders at the moment is the Luton MK3. Upon your shield break, automatically administers a weak adrenaline shot. This is really good for disengaging in PvP fights or PvE fights, because the adrenaline shot allows you to run that little bit more and your stamina doesn't start going down for a couple of more seconds. Definitely recommend staying away from the tactical MK3 healing, as this is going to be no use to you. So when you're revived from being downed, healing is restored. It's just no point. You're rarely getting picked up when you're downed as a solo player. And the heavy shield, guys, I don't use it. I wouldn't recommend using it either. It messes with your movement speed, so I definitely wouldn't recommend using it. Stick with your blue medium shield. So let's talk about a little bit of combat in Arc Raiders. You don't have to stay in combat. That is a big one. If you're over your head, or you can't spot an enemy, or you feel like you're about to lose, run. Don't be afraid to run. That's it, run. It's not a competitive shooter, it's not Battlefield, it's not COD, it's not Apex, it's an extraction looter shooter. The main goal is to extract with your loot. Survival and having fun is the main thing in extraction shooters. So it definitely can get very overwhelming as a solo player fighting against other players and a lot of arc. But knowing when to get in and get out of situations is going to help you out a lot as a solo player. So for example, all of your early game tasks are going to be in damn battlegrounds. And a really good thing to know as a solo player is where a lot of the AI spawn, so you can have a clear idea of what areas are good to push and what areas are not good to push for PvE and PvP. For example, if you're pushing out here into Red Lakes, you gotta know that there is a spawn of the Queen, and there can be a Leaper out there, and there's also a Rocketeer out there. Now pushing out into Red Lakes is going to be pointless for you unless you're going to kill the Queen. And at an early game, killing the Queen as a solo early game when you don't have the right equipment is just not going to work out. So getting to know the map, getting to know where all the player spawns are, is going to benefit you a lot. There's also an area here between Floodgates and Pipeline Tower where there can be a spawn of 2 Sentinel turrets. And now a lot of the time, to get to one of the extraction points over here, you have to make the cross. So knowing that the 2 sentinels are here will benefit you a lot as a solo player, because you know what rotation to make come along the outside here to avoid getting spotted by the sentinel. Because once the sentinel spots you, he's going to lock onto you. And if there's any other players in the area, if someone is camping up on top of the Pipeline Tower, they're going to see that the sentinel has locked onto you, and they're going to take advantage of that. And they're going to camp up here and wait for you to make the move across. So avoiding these turrets can be very beneficial. Now the turrets don't always spawn there, but it's good to know when they do spawn there what route to take. Map knowledge is going to be key for you as a solo player, as there is a lot to learn because there is 4 maps. So map knowledge is going to be essential for you for being a really good solo player. Learning where player spawns are, where all the AI spawns, where certain loot spots are, certain routes to take for the best loot is going to benefit you as a solo player. So if you come to Metaforge, all this information is on Metaforge. I can't stress that enough. It's all on Metaforge. But if you're one of those players who like to just learn over time, let it come naturally to you, I'm all for that. I really am all for that. All you got to do is just put in more hours and then eventually you'll learn. But I would definitely recommend, as a solo player coming on to Metaforge, taking a look at all these maps, seeing where certain AI spawn, and checking out where certain player spawns are. It also shows you hatch extractions, field crates, raider camps, everything you want is on Metaforge. I want to bring a little bit of attention to smoke grenades in Arc Raiders. Arc actually cannot see you in them, track you through them, or shoot you through them. Smoke grenades get you out of a lot of PvP fights in Arc Raiders. Using smoke grenades is going to benefit you so much. They'll let you smash the extraction elevator button and get out without being seen. Smoke grenades are very, very beneficial in Arc Raiders. If you're lucky enough to find a blueprint for smoke grenades, please make sure you're crafting them and bringing them to every raid. As a solo player, you will, I can't stress this enough, that smoke grenades are going to help you so much as a solo player in Arc Raiders. So make sure you're bringing in your smoke grenades. You can buy them if you don't have the blueprint. You can still buy them and they can still be found throughout the map. Having a plan and sticking with it is a very good thing to do as a solo player. Now this is very subjective and not everything always goes to plan, but I always find with extraction shooters, you're supposed to be doing tasks and you're supposed to be looting at the same time. You're supposed to be doing PvE and PvP, so everything can get a little bit overwhelming and you can definitely lose focus on what you're supposed to be doing. You need to focus on if you're going to go do a loot run, if you're going to do a task. Sometimes you can knock out 2 in 1, but prioritizing what you're going to be doing on these runs is going to help you get ahead as a solo player in Arc Raiders. So for upgrades in Arc Raiders, these are absolutely essential. I would definitely recommend upgrading Scrappy as quick as possible. Scrappy is super easy to upgrade. All you gotta do is find a few bits from, once again, Metaforge will tell you exactly where all the bits you need to upgrade Scrappy will be, and also there's plenty of YouTube videos to find where all the items to upgrade Scrappy. Upgrading Scrappy is going to help you out a lot. The dude will collect all the resources, all them little bits of resources that you don't have to be collecting, like the metal bits, the fabrics. He's going to collect all that for you. You will have more space in your backpack to get out the better loot. You won't have to collect anymore because Scrappy will be working overtime. Once you have him upgraded, he will be working overtime for you. So if you're someone like me and who usually struggles with earning cash in these extraction shooters because you always gear up in the best loot, run into a raid and get headshot within the first 2 seconds, free loadouts are going to be your best friends as a solo player. Free loadouts can make you so much money. As I said earlier in the video, there's a couple of perks that you can get, and if you use them with the free loadouts, you're going to be making 50k to 150k on a run, no problem. I have these runs shared on my channel already. I'd highly recommend checking them out. Don't forget to open absolutely everything. You don't have to loot everything, but you still get experience points for looting containers. Even if the containers are already opened, you will still get XP for scavenging these containers. So make sure you are looting everything to get experience points. Just before we finish off the video, guys, I want to show you a couple of explosives that I think are really good as a solo player in Arc Raiders. So we have the Jolt Mine. This one is so good. If you're doing the Queen raid as a solo player, and you set that room up right, whatever room you're sitting in to kill the Queen, you set up these jolt mines around that room, it's going to make it very hard for other players to push you when you're killing the Queen. Even if you're trying to extract, the jolt mine is super good as well. Putting it down in certain spots where you think players are going to rotate in from, it's going to give you that little bit of extra knowledge on where the player is coming from. And don't forget, it also shocks them as well. And whoever is in that radius, it's going to start shock them as well. So make sure when you put it down, you move a little bit away from it so you don't get stuck in the jolt mine as well with the other person. As I've said earlier in the video as well, smoke nades are really good, and you should definitely be using smoke nades. Also, the trigger nade and the snap blast grenade are both really good in PvP situations, so don't be afraid to get in and use them. That's all for now. I hope these few tips help you as a solo player in Arc Raiders. Make sure you have a great day, and I'm going to talk to you in the next one.